Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Shah. I work with the core services team that mainly looks after three product areas, that is the automations, CRM, and calendars. And today, my team and I will be giving you a rundown of everything that we'd planned for in Q3. So this is going to be very brief. We'll try to wrap everything up in about like 30 minutes. So just keep your questions for until the end, and we'll go over them once we are done. Cool. So this is what we have for today. So the presentation is divided into two parts. The first part is just giving you a rundown of everything that's already live. And the second part is covering everything that's sort of just around the corner. So I'll just, without further ado, I'll just get started with the things that are already live very briefly. So I'll keep it high level. So if you have any specific questions, like I said, we can just take that up towards the end. Is my audio still fine, Chase?
Yep.
Awesome. I just keep checking in with you.
Okay.
Awesome, great. So as you might have seen, there's this small little modal that has popped up in the conversation stream. So on the conversations page, when you sort of go into individual messages, and as you head over to the ellipse icon, you're able to see the details. So now what this really helps you do is to really drill down on again, the phone numbers that you might have used, the emails that you might have used in order to communicate with the contact. So it gives you like a comprehensive view of everything, like which phone number that was, to which phone number it was sent to previously, because chances are that you might change the phone number of the contact later and all of that good stuff in there. Besides that, the other cool thing that you would see is the red status. So at the bottom, as you can see, this is phone number. And in phone numbers, we have answered, unanswered, delivered. So you have all these delivery statuses, so which will be useful for you to see whether the message was even delivered.
Oh, that's
After
cool.
that, yeah, cool.
So those two check marks, will it light up one check mark, one sent, and two when delivered?
Exactly like WhatsApp. So if you guys have, I mean, I know people don't use WhatsApp in the US, but really first check mark is sent, double check is delivered, and double check with the blue is red. So it gives you like proper statuses of everything there is in
That's
SMS,
awesome.
in emails, for phone calls, everything. So that's one big release from us this quarter. Other than that, we have also revamped the tags page. So people who had a gazillion tags on their sub accounts, they would face this issue where the page will be very jittery. The browser would crash because our system will not support loading like so many tags. So we added pagination, and we also gave this page a facelift. So this is one other addition that's added. And after this, the very next thing that you would see here is for us to give you the ability to bulk add tags. So if you want to add like say 20 tags together, so you will be able to add that the way it works in other competitor platforms. So that's going to be up next, but this is already live.
Sweet.
Cool. So now we move to Audit Logs and Restore. So Audit Logs has also been getting small little updates. So we, after just making sure that we cover pretty much everything, every contact attribute there exists, like task, notes, opportunities, and what have you. We also are adding restore functionality. So today, in terms of restore, you can restore contacts, tags, and custom values. So we'll add more things over time, but these are the things that you can already do. So which came in this quarter. And then we have in calendar, we have something called Reserve with Google. So for those who've not been in touch, so Reserve with Google is basically a program that Google has in conjunction with something called local service ads. So if you guys have used Google ads, so local service ads is a very specific type of a Google ad where you're essentially asking people to really, I mean, the call to action on these ads is either a phone call or an appointment button. So what we do in high level with this integration is we let you take those appointments directly into high level. So you don't have to sort of like take those appointments into your Google local service ad and then webhook that over into high level. So this is a straightforward integration. We launched this about a month and a half ago. So far, we've received very good traction, and we only opened it up for one niche, which was the home services niche. Tomorrow onward, we will open that up for real estate and legal as well. So if you are in real estate, if you're in legal, if you do local service ads, and if you're based in United States, you will be able to use this feature as well.
Very cool. I'd be curious to know how many people on here are running LSA for those two new niches.
Yeah, and we might even have a small little event planned around this. So of course, we'll also talk about that over the next few weeks. Cool. Then we have webhook action improvements. So these are for people who actually use webhooks extensively. And this is one of our really important, most used, one of the most used automation actions, so to speak. And what you're essentially going to be able to do now is to be able to pass values from the header. So if you don't know what that is, then it doesn't concern you as much. But then this is for people who are primarily into webhooks and they want a little bit more granularity. And that's largely it. I'm just trying to keep everything high level. Then we have workflow folder permissions. So you probably would have seen workflow folder permissions where you're able to secure your workflows and not let anyone sort of really toggle or sort of edit your workflows if you don't want to. And what it will simply do is, again, the work, as you can see the screenshot here, you'll be able to set the permission from under the action button against the workflow. And you can choose like who can access this. Right now, what we have is only these roles, but going forward, we'll add more granularity here. But today, it's either going to be an agency admin or agency user or account admin or all for that matter. And once you do that, for someone who's not authorized, they will basically see what you see on my screen on the right, where it'll be locked out and they will basically just see like a red icon there with no access.
So 2 questions for you, Shah, on this. I know we've had a lot of requests for an option to just hide it all together, and I think that's coming, right?
Yeah, that's in the pipeline. That's going to be a universal setting. So the way we are thinking about it is that this behavior is something a lot of folks would desire across the app, across everywhere there is folders. So we're trying to bring some sort of a central setting, and we are in discussion and deliberating upon it, but that's definitely on the cards.
Okay, great. That was my second question, because I've seen people asking already in the comments, are we going to be able to lock this or that or this? So we do have a plan to kind of roll it out anywhere there's folders.
Absolutely.
Great.
Perfect. Next is tasks page. Now, this is something which wasn't initially planned, but we managed to squeeze that in. And here, the same problem which people faced on the tags page really is that because it was in that small little widget on the dashboard, a lot of folks were having trouble really interacting with the tasks that they had for different users. So this kind of gives them a little bit more real estate, and also adds pagination, which actually doesn't really freeze up their browser and impact their experience in any way. So now this is something which we'll build on top of. We have like big plans to sort of fuse this with manual actions and try and sort of make sure our system is much more, like interconnected than like sort of the way it's sort of fragmented today. So, but then this is a step in that direction for now. So where you will be able to simply see tasks, and this can be accessed from contacts, and under that there's a tasks submenu.
Yeah, that's a very cool update. I think a lot of people are psyched about that. I saw someone say, "Oh, I was able to clear out like 50 old tasks in one shot. That was awesome." Mary Sue just asked a good question. Do we have plans to roll the tasks over into the mobile app?
Oh yeah, that I guess Nilashish, if he's around, he can answer that. But I see no reason why we shouldn't.
Yeah. So we already have a component for task, which we are looking to grow upon slowly and gradually. Definitely not an item for this quarter, Chase, but what we want to do is like similarly what we have done on the web, we will bring the component individual as an individual model inside the mobile app. That's the plan. But whatever it is right now, like you can see the task dashboard, create and execute, create task, edit task, those things will continue to work along with this, which is on the web.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, next quarter we will work upon this.
Awesome.
And for most things, just to sort of mention this, for most things, right? Like when you go to the mobile app, if you just move to the task and it says 100%, this is actually, you can tap this and your task list would open.
Oh, what?
So yeah,
Yes.
so I I think a lot of people don't know this, but the list that the graph that you see, which says 100%, like for me, it says 100% task complete. If you tap that card, your list of tasks and all the sorting options and everything would open, like sort by due date, sort by user, and all of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Nilesh, I think we should just put a button over there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, to make it more visible. That would be that's the direction we would take.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't know about that too. So thanks, Shiva, for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg.
That's awesome.
Quite a
And
bit.
hopefully you guys have been keeping up with the mobile updates, because the new one that has the quick action thing is really awesome. So if you haven't updated, I would encourage you to go do so. And the mobile team is on fire lately. There's so much cool stuff rolling out. So definitely stay up to date on the mobile app.
Yep. Cool. So then I'll now hand the presentation over to Siddharth, who leads the CRM efforts, who's going to just walk us through all the major ongoing projects that we can expect to drop between end of this quarter and level up day. So that's really the timeline around which all of these items will drop. So yeah, if you have any specific questions, so I guess they should answer that around timelines. Go for it, Siddharth.
Thanks, Shah. Hi, everyone. Let's start with conversations first. So we have tons of new features which are coming up in conversations and pretty exciting. So to begin with, we have added the new set of filters. So as you can see, we have 5 key filters right now under quick filters. So we can filter based on type, based on the assignee, based on unassigned, the last message direction, whether it's inbound or outbound, the last message type, and the channel, right? So this will definitely make it more efficient in terms of navigate through a bunch of conversations and get to the desired one which you're looking at. So this is on filters. Second, we are adding the bulk actions also on the right hand side. So as you can see, you can just select a bunch of conversations and mark them as read, unread. Start is a new functionality we have added, so I'll touch upon that in the next slide. And we can also delete conversations in part of bulk actions. So these are, yeah.
So hold on. I think can everybody join me who has a camera on in a round of applause? I think this is going to be one of the most monumental updates to the app ever. I think I speak for everybody when I say we are so pumped for this, guys.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep. Cool.
Cool. The next one, the start one. So this is a new functionality which we are adding. Basically, what it does is you can mark a conversation as start. This can be used for multiple use cases. It could be for important conversations. It could be for conversation which you would like to come back later and kind of have a look at. So this will give you this. You can identify the ones which are start, and you can also kind of get the entire list of start conversations as part of the filters. So that's about the third one. And the fourth one is we're also adding the sort functionality. So you can sort conversations from latest to oldest and the vice versa. And you can also do this in relation with the filters. So you can apply a filter, and based on that, you can also sort the conversations. So these are the major updates which are coming under conversations. Yep.
Amazing.
Cool. Moving to the next one, which is login as feature. So this is something which we have, this feedback we have received a lot, where agency admins, they need to kind of log into multiple users' account to kind of set up their account or set up their calendar, and they have to do it multiple times. So they have to sign out and sign in. So just to make it more seamless and efficient for them, we are adding login as a new feature. So what it basically does is agency admins can log into the users, which is part of the agency, and also the sub accounts, and make changes, right? So if you go back to that, Shah, can you go back to the slide one more time? Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Go back. Yeah.
My bad, sorry.
Yeah. So as a user can click on login as, they can see the list of users. They can search the particular user they want to log in as, and as a login, if you look at the screenshot at the below, it kind of showcases that you're logged in as, let's say, Akshay, and they can also seamlessly switch back to their account and kind of and go about the functionality they want to do. So this is about login as feature. Yep. We can go to the
Seems
next
to
one
be
now.
very popular. I had no idea that one would be so beloved, but it looks like everyone's very excited to be able to log in as other people.
Great. Next one is notifications manager. So I think this is something which we touched upon briefly in the last town hall. So let's go into that deeply in this one. Yeah. So this is right now we have an option called view recent activities, where all the different type of notifications are kind of get allocated at this point in time, but we don't have a way to kind of set preferences at a user level that, hey, I don't want to see this notification, or I want to see this notification, and also at a channel level. So we are building this where you can set your own preferences that which notifications you want to see and via which channel. And we are going ahead with couple of core modules, which is conversations, tasks, calendar, and the reviews. And more importantly, you can also identify when the notifications kind of pops up in the panel that from where these notifications are coming from. So it could be a custom automation notification, it could be a system notification. And another thing which has been asked a lot and I think will be really helpful for the users is the reminder notifications. So we are coming up with reminder notifications for appointments and tasks, where you can get a reminder, prior to a task or an appointment, and you can also set how much time before you want the notification. So you can set for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, etc. So that's about the notifications manager. Yep.
Very cool.
Cool. So the next one is TikTok integration. So this is something which the team is working on, and we are going ahead with the lead generation, where you can connect with your TikTok business account, and based on the forms you kind of run there, the leads will directly get allocated in the CRM, digital CRM. So this is something which is coming up as well. So now you can also kind of get all your leads from TikTok ad platform to your CRM account.
That's very cool. And I have been blown away by the results that we are seeing from TikTok. If you guys aren't dabbling in it yet, I would encourage you to give it a whirl. The algorithm seems to be so generous at this point in time. And now they do like their version of lead forms, right? So when you connect this, you'll be able to pull leads straight off TikTok into the system. So that's
absolutely
very
awesome.
All right.
Cool. Let's go to the next one. So last but not the least, from my side is a company object, where you at a contact details page, you can see the company it is mapped to. If it's not mapped already, you can also map to a particular company.
Is Glenn here?
Where's Glenn?
Glenn's here. Dreams come true, Glenn. Dreams come true.
I'm speechless. I'm watching and I'm speechless.
No way. Hold on. Somebody take a picture.
I am speechless. Make my day, boys. Go ahead. Make my day.
Now you better deliver. Otherwise you're never gonna hear the end of it.
I have so much pressure on me, it's ridiculous. Go ahead.
Glenn is not going to use the company field.
Oh my God. I'd say hallelujah, but I'm not a religious man. Go ahead.
Awesome. So we are also, you can see a company page inside the contact module. Shah, we can go to the next one. Yeah. So here you can add a new company. You can see the list of all the companies which have been added. You can search the company based on different attributes. And if you click on a company, you can also kind of see the contacts which is mapped to. So all the list of contacts which is part of the company, you'll be able to get an overall view of how this company is related with the contact. So that's about the company object at this point in time. And we are team is working on this, and we are pretty excited on this.
What attributes do you have that are set aside for that table for the company data? What is, I'm just asking, as I see, I mean, what's in there? Is its own email address for the company versus the contact? That's what I'm kind of looking for.
Right now, it will be the name, the company name.
Okay,
Yeah.
that,
Sure,
I
you
mean,
want to touch upon that?
yeah. So what you're talking about is what are the default fields, right?
yeah.
Glenn?
What's the set of attributes in the company table? Like what are we tracking there versus
I
what's in the
think
contact table?
I can show that to you over here. Hold on. Should be right here. So yeah, right here. These are the ones.
Okay, so
ID, business name. Oh, yeah,
all right.
go
So
for it.
company will have its own email and its own phone, separate
Yeah.
separate from a contact field's email and phone. Is that
Yeah.
what we're
That's
getting?
right.
Oh,
Yep.
all right. That's a huge thing. Great. Go on, guys. Thank you, man. Just go. Keep going.
I hope you're taking screenshots. So you can send it to your client.
I'm not. I'm trying. I'm gonna get another cup of coffee in a minute because I'm freaking out over here. Go ahead.
Glenn just bought high level again.
Again. Yeah. I
Good,
stuck just for this. I stuck for this. I've been waiting for this for 2 years. This is part of it anyway. Keep going, guys. Keep going.
Awesome. So yeah, so that's all from my end. Shah, you can now take over the next one.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for that. Great. So now in workflows, we have multi-branch. So for those who are waiting for it, and the way we've done it is that we've integrated it with the current if-else branch. If you probably have used that, so it would be backward compatible. And very simply, if you want to add like multiple branches, you just need to hit the add button, and your current workflows won't be impacted after this release. So this is coming up next. Then, Then after that, we have the goals. So for those who are probably coming to high level from our competitors and have probably used goals before, I think now you guys can rejoice because we have goals on our platform just around the corner. And again, for those who are not who aren't too sure of how goals work, the way it typically works is it defines the point at which you want to pull people over to a specific step. So say if you have a workflow from top to bottom, and then you have a goal that's like say action number 3, and then you have a contact that's sitting at like action number 9. But then while you're nurturing that contact, you probably accomplished a certain goal, and that goal could be either taking an appointment or maybe having that person click into a trigger or maybe a specific email event. You can just pull that person back into the goal step, and then from there you can sort of execute upon other things. So that's like at a high level how the goal works, and it's also coming in workflows.
Shaw, hold on. Whoa. I got to take you back 2 slides because you just flew through something.
Yeah.
This is a quantum leap forward. And I saw a couple of questions about this. So with if else right now, it's kind of binary, right? How does that change when you have multiple?
So it doesn't change in any way for people who are using it the way. I mean, if they want to use it as binary, they continue to use it as binary, where the blue continues to be yes and the red continues to be no. But then if they want, they can have multiple yeses. So they can lay out multiple other outcomes which they would like to sort of add.
I guess Chase is really asking for a use case here. And Chase, it's things like we see a lot of people building workflows where it's, hey, if it's this user, take a certain set of actions. If it's the second user, third user. And right now they're chaining a bunch of if conditions for every user, and it goes endlessly. This will be solved by that. For appointments, for instance, say if an appointment is booked, cancelled, you might have different actions that need to happen. But instead of building this across workflows, you can just put it in an appointment trigger, filter on those conditions in these paths, and have all of them at the same place. So if it's confirmed, this is the flow it's going to go through. If it's cancelled, this is the flow it's going to
This eliminates all the waterfall workflows that we build.
Exactly. It eliminates the waterfall. That's the perfect way to think about it.
Very cool. Sorry, Shah. I just needed to shine a little more love on that because I feel like that's gonna drastically.
Yeah, I would agree. That was no apology needed. I'll speak for Shah. That was totally worth doing.
No, totally makes sense. Cool. So moving forward, we have math operation improvements. Now, for those who are using math operations, we've added the ability for you to choose custom values and all the template variables from within the value checkbox. And the other thing that is also added is for you to add multiple operations. So previously you could only add one operator. Now you can add multiple. So now what it really means is that, say, if you want to conduct a math operation where you want to say that, hey, my lead score, you select a certain field, and that field hypothetically being lead score, you want to add like a certain number to it, and then you want to multiply that number by a certain number again. So you can do a lot of these math operations, and you can sort of then update another field. So I probably did a bad job explaining that, but then Chase, do you want to throw some light into that?
Yeah, I think this is really cool. So basically what you're saying is, okay, I can grab a number that came from a form and then I can multiply it by a percentage, and then that's going to output the answer of that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there are 4 operators, like, the ones that we have, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and divide. And you can, the way you sort of lay it out in an equation, like that's precisely how it's going to be executed. And okay, here we are.
And now you're saying you can do multiple, so you could have multiple custom values pulling in to the equation.
Exactly. Now you can have multiple operators that could work simultaneously without you having created multiple action steps in order to execute that same thing.
Very cool.
So that's another bit of an update there. After that, we have the calendar settings consolidation project. Now, this is really vast, but then just to give you a high level sentiment of what it is trying to do is really it's trying to consolidate all the disparate settings that are fragmented across different parts of the app and bringing all of it under like one settings page. So as you can see here, there is a page. I mean, you probably are familiar with the calendar settings page. So this is going to be the new tabular view of the calendar settings page where we'll sort of list all the calendars out for you. And you should be able to access preferences, all your availability settings, and all the various connections from within this page. So for someone who's new, it is much easier for him to navigate through all of these different settings to be able to help him configure calendar. And even for people who are using it like actively for like many months or years, they too will have a easy time discovering different settings. So that's one. The other thing that we're also doing, which you probably would have seen a release out for, is we've dropped this need for you to create a team before you could create a calendar in the team context. So now you don't need to really create a team. You can directly add people to the calendars. So that saves you one step, but then now team is not completely abandoned. You can use teams to be able to cluster all of those calendars together and leverage the same page, which really helps you sort of showcase all the different calendars. So your team URLs will continue to work, and all your calendars will you can list them on the teams page, or you can have them sit independently, as you can see here on the screen. So that's calendar settings. And the whole idea here, again, at a high level, is to just go towards a world where people are not like deciding between which calendar do I need to pick. There's only one calendar. There are no 2 calendar systems that are coexisting. So it is just easier for people to sort of navigate through the calendars.
Sure.
I see a good calendar question that just popped up. Is there a plan, or will we ever have it where you could just take an old V1 calendar and turn it into a new one? Or should you just go ahead and rebuild those?
The functionality will be identical. So you wouldn't need to do that. In fact, the calendar setup that we will be working on in the subsequent quarter, there we don't have any discrimination between V1 or V2 calendar. It's just one calendar. And all those who have their calendars today, their calendars will be auto-migrated over into the new consolidated and unified calendar, so to speak. So
look
no
at
intervention
the
needed.
new UX on the front end. There's no need to go rebuild them then. Got it.
Exactly.
Cool. Can I ask just a quick follow-up? Is that okay now or later? Okay. Yeah. So just real quick, I had a situation just, and I'm not sure if this will solve the problem or handle it or not. So I have people that are on a sales team and they want their own calendar to give a link to people to book just with them, but then they want to also be like on a sales team calendar where there's 3 or 4 salespeople. If someone books on one of the calendars, will it block out the appointment slot on the other side so they don't get double booked?
Yeah, it will. That's how it works.
Okay, well, I don't know how to do that, but good. Okay, great, excellent. Thank you.
Now, wait, do you have to have them both integrated to the same Google Calendar for that to work, Shaw? Or it knows
No,
that
we
it's
don't.
tied
So
to
I
this
think
user?
just the way the team calendars work today, Chase, it will just work out of the box. No
Cool.
need for the Google Calendar at all. Yeah.
So they can have two separate calendars and they'll synchronize together the two different calendars, basically.
Yeah, Glenn,
Pretty
because
much.
it's tied to the user availability if you think about it. So even if the user's on multiple calendars, that user is blocked out for that date and time that somebody may have
Yeah.
taken.
Coffee's on me. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful. Perfect. So that, I guess, was the last slide. No, we have one more. Okay. So we have contact fields folders. Pardon me. So basically now, so if you go to create a custom field, we are giving you a preview of what that custom field might look like. Because a lot of times people really did not, understand the naming convention. So a lot of people were like, "Hey, what is drop-down single versus what is, let's say, a text box list?" So a lot of people struggled, and the only way for them to really see what that is to sort of first create that, put that into a form, and then they will see how it will appear for their customers. So now they can see the preview right here as they are creating it. And that is, and then you can even group them, so when you, so this is the first part of it, like you create these things. So then when you talk about grouping them, the way it typically works is you sort of group all of them, and you put them in any folders that actually you'd like to see on the contact details page, which appears in the screen here. So the folders, the way they work is you sort of group these folders, list them the way you'd want them to be listed here, and you can rearrange these fields in the group section to make sure that it's convenient for you to access some information of contacts the way your clients want it to be. So you could sort of hypothetically create like a field called phone, and you can put it in a group, and that group could virtually have the default system phone and the custom field phone right next to it. So this is really one of the things which I think Glenn has brought up several times. So
yeah. What about the problem now too is that if you're going to create custom fields, you don't see the fields, the standard fields that are already in GHL, and someone who's not used to using GHL all the time, they create fields that they don't really need because they're already really there, under a different name, like company name is business name or something like that. Are you going to can we show those fields when they create the custom fields?
Yeah, it's all fields here. So again, the name is misleading. So we actually have this page called manage fields.
Okay.
So the name is misleading here, but it shows all the fields. So you can sort of like rearrange, organize all the fields. So you can sort of even like park some fields which you don't use in a separate folder, tuck that in and put that at the bottom so that you don't have to worry about those additional data points.
Great.
So this is another
awesome,
one.
Shaw.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
That's great. Yep.
Can I just say something? I think this is great. I think there's a need out there for when a form is submitted or a survey is submitted, maybe you could automatically, like anything on that form or survey kind of goes into a group.
So there is a plan to be able to introduce that in the middle panel. But again, one way you could do that is if your fields are distinct between forms. So if you have like really distinct fields, you could actually group them, and then you can view these, when the form submission.
That should work, right? You create a group called Form 1, and all of the fields in there are specifically for Form 1. Use all of those fields on the form, and it should automatically group them. So when that submission comes in, all the data from that form is grouped under a particular.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Super cool. Then it really is your own CRM at that point.
We're getting there.
Yeah, Glenn.
That's the key. We're getting there.
Awesome. Cool. So we can move to questions now. Thank you so much, everyone.
That was great, Shaw. Thank you. Nico, do you want to take us to the top?
Yeah, we'll take it to the top. And the first question of the day is from Pamela. She's asking, did I hear somewhere that there are booths available at the Dallas event for people to set up to sell services, etc.?
Yeah, so I DM'd Pamela that yes, and this is a good segue into, hopefully everybody has seen the Level Up Summit that's coming in October in Dallas. We have been working on this tirelessly for months now, and it is going to be an absolutely insane event. I told Pamela, I think there are 1 or 2 booths left, but Robin, you could probably confirm that, right? I think Austin is off today.
Yeah, we are basically filling up on all aspects of the event, whether it's exhibitors, tickets, every single aspect of it. I mean, we're getting a lot of traction. And so if you are interested, definitely go to the website, levelup.gohighlevel.com. There's an exhibitor section. You can request information. We'll send you a presentation deck, which kind of explains everything. You can get on a call with Austin and the account management team. For the exhibitor side, if you are interested in tickets, I think we're getting really close to selling out a lot of the VIP tickets, and then we'll only have all access. And sooner than later, get your tickets, because once they're gone, we can't fit anyone else in the event centers. So make sure to get your ticket and be there. It's going to be incredible. We're going to have a ton of drops that we're going to be releasing, as well as a lot of content along the way as well.
And we even had a music video made. So check this out.
October 24th through the 27th, I'm at the Level Up Summit in Dallas, Texas. This is the can't miss event for all the high levelers around the world. It's time to level up. It's the Level Up Summit. You know I'm coming. I wouldn't miss it for nothing. No, it's time to level up. Everyone is here to build. See the 2023 roadmap revealed. The 4 days, you should come invested. Network and make helpful connections. October 24th through the 27th in Dallas, Texas. If you don't, then you're gonna regret it. It's time to level up. It's time to level up. Dallas, Texas is going down. October 24th through the 27th. So get your tickets now. It's time to level up. Wait, did he say the speakers? I don't think so. I don't know. Hey, who's speaking? Oops, my bad. I knew I forgot something. Julie Chanel, Payne Jones, Steve Sims, and Billy Jean. You already know. Let's go. It's time to level up.
And hopefully you guys saw, we actually have a surprise 5th keynote speaker. The absolute legend, Frank Kern, was kind enough. He told us he was coming, and we were like, oh my gosh, would you like to speak? And he was like, I'd be honored. So we are thrilled to have him as the 5th keynote speaker of the event as well. So if you guys haven't got your tickets yet, levelup.gohighlevel.com.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that, while we have 5 keynote speakers, we have 20 other speakers. We're doing panels, we're doing breakout sessions, we're doing networking events, we're going to have parties every night. We're going to have, it's going to be a full-on event. You guys are going to be amazed for the ones that are going to be there. And if you're not, you're missing out. This is going to be the event of the year.
Awesome. Nico, so yeah, if you are interested in a booth, I think there are only 1 or 2 left, but you could go, there's a page for exhibitors on the site where you can request more info on that. Back to you, Nico.
Next question is from Steve. It's a 2-part. The first part being, when creating a website within High Level, the inner pages do not allow for a proper navigational structure, which is important for SEO. Is it possible to provide us with the ability that inner pages have the ability to fall under category pages, menu items, example xyz.com/services/haircut instead of xyz.com/haircut?
Bharat, are you there?
Yep. NASA?
Yeah. So, thanks for the input, Steve. So we will take it up, and we'll ensure that it is SEO compliant and it works the way you described. So I will take it back to the team and add it as a add it in the to-do list.
Basically, all that needs to be done is that the inner pages need to be able to be sub pages of other pages. That's it.
Yeah. Got it.
Nico,
Awesome.
you mind reading my comment there above Steve's?
Yes, I just thought this was like a vote, so I didn't know if it was a question, but James did say, just wanted to add my vote for native support of importing opportunities along with contacts. Does it make sense to me to add a bunch of custom fields that really belong on the opportunity card to the contact record?
Yeah, I mean, we have that on the list. We'll get to it. I think we have a lot of other things on opportunities too. So we'll bundle all of these items together, and we'll sort of factor that in when we get there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then the second part to Steve's question was for the WordPress websites, will there be available access such as FTP for developers to make modifications to the site, etc.?
Not at the moment. I think at the moment FTP is on the list. We do want to deliver it. We just want to knock out a few usability items. And I don't want to promise this quarter, but hopefully next quarter, FTP would become a reality on WordPress.
Okay, so there are plans for us to be able to get into the back end of the files.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
there
that
is.
your developers can routinely break your WordPress installations.
Got it.
And you can hit the restore button a lot.
Got it.
I think which was the biggest concern, like even today, like we did an analysis on the kind of tickets that we get using custom security plugins, trying to use a single instance to run 2 sites, and like all of these custom jobs. These are the ones which are creating tickets. Like all the other problems that we have, like for domain management and like a lot of the migration issues. So anything that works out of the box has been fairly reliable in the last 1 month. But it's the custom stuff that is a concern, and that's why we are in sort of split minds. Like should we build FTP? Because once we build FTP, this thing is going to be on steroids. So that's the only concern. We'll figure out a solution and we'll deliver FTP.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Next question's from Pamela. With the new email with Go High Level, what is
Nico,
the
that's been answered.
that's been answered? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then the next question is from Steve, status on updates for forms/surveys.
Meaning the design elements. I think they were being worked on.
Varun?
Yes.
Or NASA?
Yeah, so we plan to start working this, this quarter, Steve. So I think I reached out to you to give you an update that we are starting. But there are a couple of other things that came up. So we are working on the image slider and the FAQ that recently got released. So because of that, it is getting pushed out to the next quarter. So next quarter, we will definitely pick up the forms and surveys to start the work.
Got it. And one question in relation to that, will we be able to, on these forms, have tick boxes that have the ability, because what it appears to me that we have to have the signature element be recorded, like the IP and the date when the tick box is submitted for these forms. And I'm hoping that that's going to be a possibility as well.
I will take note. Yeah, we haven't finalized what goes in there, but I can take.
Is this for the signature line, or what is this for?
Signature.
Yeah, signature, so that there's a actual recorded.
Yeah, we need to Google this though. Like, there's like a couple other items, like a fingerprint and some other things. So I would just sort of say, like, let's get it all in one go. It's actually not that hard. We just need to write it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Next question is from Brian. He says, request, the new shopping cart feature is great, but can you allow us to capture the quantity ordered for each product in workflows?
I think yes, so, sorry,
no, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Prashant.
I think I answered this one, and like we are currently working on that as well. Like you will be able to have a product filter, and we are introducing a table similar to what we have in Shopify order confirmation as of now. So this will be available within this quarter only. So yeah, this is being worked upon currently.
Beautiful. Thank you, Prashant. Next question is from Clay. How is inbound calling to the Lead Connector app coming along, and will it be done in Q3?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, we have started our work. There is a lot of progress happening here. We are on to get our first POC ready. If not Q3, definitely it should be early Q4, but not very strict on the timelines. And I can't promise it can be on Q3, but it's definitely on the cards.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Next question we have is from Patrick. Any update on when we can upload a file as we create a new note in Contact? I know currently we can have a custom field in additional information, but I was hoping to have the same functionality available to when we add a note, so the file gets attached along when the note gets created. Example, attaching a proposal or an agreement.
Yeah, Patrick. So for this, we had something called document management in mind. So, I mean, this is a for you. Would you rather store these things under a module called document management that appears for every contact, or would you prefer to have an attachment feature in notes for you to be able to do that?
I think either way is good. Just the idea is to be able to refer to a note with an attachment if necessary. That's all.
Yeah. And
so whether a note or a document management is good too.
Yeah, I think both of them work together. So I think when they put a file, when they attach a file in notes, it does get saved in the document management for the contact. But if you go look at the ideas list, there are quite a few people that ask for attachments to notes as well. So I don't see why not. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Patrick. Next question is from James. He says, heads up, for a field of type monetarily, I can't set it to a merge field or type monetary in workflows, update contact action.
Okay, we'll have to look into that. Nikunj, any idea if this is a known issue?
No, sure. We will check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll check that, James.
Thanks so much. I think just the general principle being that any field types, if you have a custom field type of the same type, they should be able to be linked. Okay, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks.
And the next question we have is from Stephanie. Have you guys seen accessibility screen reader widgets for site pages? They allow for the font to be adjusted and other settings to make it easier for pages to be viewed. Is this something that has been brought up before to add to the roadmap?
Yeah, I can show an example of what I mean.
Oh, we know what you're talking about. Yeah, so I mean, my biggest concern on these things is not the technical aspects, but the liability aspects. I mean, you can buy these things from 10 different people, but if we mess it up and you get sued and you lose, I don't want you asking me for money. And that's my bigger concern on this than anything. And if you look at most of the other companies, by the way, they you can't sue them. I mean, they're not going to pay for your lawsuit either. Right. But the difference is I'd rather just not have you hate me for that. I mean, I can put it in my terms and conditions and we wouldn't have to pay you, but you won't be happy on that day. And I just feel concerned about stepping on that. Not to say that we won't do it, but it's sort of like HIPAA. When we did it, we didn't, there are companies out there that will do HIPAA, but they just sort of say like, oh yeah, we're HIPAA compliant. But we took it incredibly seriously and we do this daily, and I just don't want to mess it up. But all that to say, there's like a gajillion of them out there, some of which are, I mean, I talked to this Israeli company, and what I thought was super cool about theirs is most widgets try to transform things on screen sort of in real time, but they would actually pre-download your site, and then they would create pre-modified versions on the back end. And then they would reserve the page based on the accessibility criteria, but they would try to use AI on the back end to like make sure that it like all the descriptions were there and all kinds of stuff. And that's the level I would want to go to in order to do
that's
this
what I
right.
wanted to ask, because I wanted to know, is it worth it to have it something natively, or is it make more sense to go somewhere that's already built?
I mean, I would just say I have no idea. I mean, we'll follow the votes as usual, but I will just say that is the biggest concern I would have at deploying that type of solution. I would just want to make sure that we had all of our sort of legal ducks in a row and we knew what we were getting into.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Next one is from Matthew. I noticed that VAT/tax on order forms feature request had a status change. Is there an ETA on this?
Yeah, we were looking for the feasibility. I think it was under review. So we were just checking for the votes there. So we will consider it based on the voting that we get on that.
I think there are two ideas on our ideas board. One is specifically for VAT and tax management for SaaS products. The status
Yes.
of that changed yesterday because I moved it to in progress. We are working on that. We are not going to support like full tax controls or anything like that, but we will get to a place where if you are using the Scribe tax product, you could easily sort of use that and be tax compliant, especially if you are in the European Union. So the status of that changed yesterday, but for the regular order form and the funnel component, I think Prashant, you can walk everyone through that.
Yeah, I think I changed it to under review at that moment, and I think they're talking about that. So we were just evaluating whether this is in demand or not. So probably if this is upvoted, then we'll take it up in the next quarter.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew. Next question we have is from James. Also heads up that tags can only be mapped to one field on import. It would make sense to be that tags should be able to be mapped multiple times.
James, can you go off mute and explain this a little bit? So when you say mapped multiple times, what do you mean by that?
Okay. So when you have a CSV with a bunch of columns, all kinds of different things. When you get into the importer, the CSV importer, you have this kind of mapping where you say, okay, I want this field to be mapped to email, this one to phone, and this one to tags. Well, there could be many other columns that also make sense to be mapped to tags, but you can only choose tags once, and so you're forced to only choose one column. But tags is by nature are one to many.
Right. So in your spreadsheet, you could actually sort of merge all those columns and separate them by comma, and then that should really help you already sort of upload.
That works. It works. I just uploaded 6,000 contacts and tagged them all. Yeah.
You had to do the data massaging on the pre-import side.
The key is I actually contacted Sean, and he almost had a heart attack when I showed him what I had. But the bottom line was, you have to do all your pre-work on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. You can't throw a bunch of random garbage spreadsheets at the system and hope it all figures it out for you. That's called magic.
Yeah, you have to manage it on the spreadsheet.
It lives in the land of unicorns.
It was a mess. It was a mess. Yeah, but it's fine.
I guess the feature request is that I could map tags multiple times for multiple columns.
Oh yeah, that's probably doable. I was just talking about Glenn.
Yeah.
And ripping him at the same time.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. Yeah.
But he pulled it out. I was impressed. The fact that he didn't write me back after that, I was like, man, that Glenn, he's got his act together. So if you ever need to know how to merge spreadsheets, call Glenn.
No thanks. I hate that job. That's the worst job in the world.
Hey, you owe us, Glenn. We did the email CC with what you want.
You did? You didn't get? Did I miss that? When did I miss that?
No, maybe I said the wrong thing. I
apologize.
Oh,
Nico.
I'm sorry.
You're killing me.
Yeah, he's opening the Pandora's box.
My question's coming up. Keep going.
The next one is from Steve. Are there any plans to lock tags so specific users cannot change them?
Yeah, so we'll introduce them with folders. So today we don't have folders in tags. Once we have them, we will try to add this feature in as well.
Got it. Thanks.
The next one is from Stephanie. Is there a custom field for day of the week for an appointment that I am missing? I can't seem to find one for what day of the week an appointment was booked on.
Yeah, I'm still processing that. Stephanie, again, can you just go off mute and explain this?
I have standing Wednesday meetings, for example, with one company I work with. So you just, I think. Go ahead.
Well, so on the merge fields page on your guys' website, you have like right now, day of week, right? So we just need the corresponding appointment day of week merge field.
Appointment day of the week. Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. I'll add it to my list. Yeah, it's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good one.
Next up is from Clay. Can we add a form to the bookings globally? If we are booking for a service, it is nice to capture service type data.
What kind of bookings are these? Calendar bookings or two-step order, one-step order from bookings?
Calendar bookings.
Okay. Add a form to the bookings globe. Oh, okay. No, you can't do that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to do it at the calendar level. But why would you want to do that, Clay? Like, what's the use case there?
Just because on the back end, whenever our team books an appointment, we want to be able to say like for what kind of service. I'm in the repair industry, and so we do like phone repairs, computer repairs, stuff like that. That's what we do marketing for. We like to capture that data.
Right. So you could already do that, right? Like, so at the calendar level, if you already have a form created, you could hook that calendar up within the calendar.
Okay, I just didn't know on the back end, you know, when you.
So are you asking whether you can add a custom form to the calendar, or is it something else?
If you can add the custom form to the calendar, like on the back end, when you go to like a contact card and click book an appointment, it doesn't really let you add any custom fields or anything there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, this is a good feedback. We've had this on the list for a while. We'll see how quickly we can do
By
it.
the way,
We want to do this.
the funnel people replied. And they said that they logged in.
Mute him real quick.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Clay.
Yep. Thank you.
The next question is from Steve. Are we able to use custom values to populate a video or an image on a page?
On a funnel page, Steve?
Yeah. This is a question from one of my VAs.
I think you should be able to. I think NASA can maybe confirm after you check.
We'll test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Next up is a question from Mary Sue. She says, I love the tasks. Will a tasks module be added to the mobile app?
I think we covered this. It's kind of already there, and you're going to look at maybe adding a button somewhere else. Thank you.
Next one is from James. I'm not sure if we answered this already. He asks, where do we access all tags from?
Settings, tags. Like, is that the?
It was funny because that was almost like Shaw was like it was like trying to trick him or something.
It was a very Sean response.
It's like
I think he was doing a Sean
settings
interpretation.
Sorry, thank you. I was just looking for like on the like maybe it belong. I was thinking maybe on the context, like maybe it deserves a spot like tasks right next to tags. So I was looking for it in the wrong place. But thank you.
There is a section in the contact record for tags.
Yeah.
Yes. I was looking more of the global tags.
Yep. Settings tags.
Thank you.
Next question we have is the webhooks GET response. Is the response available for use?
What in the world does that mean?
Anna, are you here?
Yeah, hey guys. So in the webhooks, the get method was recently introduced. So when I hit my API endpoint, I get information back. But is there something internal that we can then use that information inside the workflows?
Like Zapier.
Yeah.
That's a smart idea. I love that idea.
No, so we've gotten this feedback a lot on the webhook action, and I think that's kind of an error on our side. We should make those fields accessible. Plus, that's how a GET request should work anyway. But today it doesn't do that. Today the GET request just sends a request of type GET, and the data that comes back doesn't matter. We don't do anything with it. But that is on the list. It is an enhancement that we have on the back.
Varun. I mean, what he is asking is, we talked earlier. So you send the request to their server, they respond something. So what they want to do is,
I get it.
to use that value in the if-and-else.
Yeah, expose the variables in the workflow. That's what. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, in the if-and-else.
Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So is that in the plans, Varun?
Yeah, it is in the backlog, but we're not working on that right now. So I think once the current workflow items go out, when we plan for Q4, we will take a look at it. But we got a lot of the same feedback when this first went out. Yeah, so we've seen it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. Next question is from Ben. When will the tasks update show up in the RSS feed?
I mean, in change log. Like just generally what's the timing of that? So if I see it in a Facebook post? And then when will it hit the change log so we can share with the team?
Oh, I think the changelog what was introduced after this went live. But yeah, so we are not like back adding a lot of things. So
that
it's
makes
only
sense.
on a going forward basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Next one is from Glenn. I'm looking for an update to the org object, extended attribute tracking for multiple phone and email, and the Chrome extension.
We already got this, right, Glenn?
Yeah, the only question is the what was said about the
extension.
CC thing, and then what about being able to connect, your inbox so we can thread conversations in from email, that piece of it. Where are you guys with that whole piece of it?
Yeah, the two-way email sync is what we internally call that project as. So that's something which we're actively deliberating and discussing, and good chances that we should be able to really narrow in on exactly what we want to do, how we want to do by like early next quarter, and then we should have a good update for you then. In terms of the Chrome plugin, I guess we are still sort of discussing there. But
I figured this out though. I know you guys probably already figured this out, but the whole point of that, right, is to dictate who and which people get put into the CRM versus not, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there needs to be some kind of a filter, but like there's a button on Salesforce, just add this person to the CRM. Boom, they're in.
Yeah. But then the moment we have this two-way email sync, I think you should already be able to sort of do this without the Chrome plugin. But we'll see. We'll sort of.
So I guess the use case there is allow them to use the primary email box. Like if someone's using G Suite to send the email, right? It's not going to be as good as sending the email from within our platform, at least on a day-to-day basis. So the idea with the plugin is it captures the email that they're sending, adds that contact into the CRM, logs that email, so when the reply comes, it shows up inside the CRM.
Yeah, so, they usually use an ADF they call it or something. Usually like a hidden BCC address that then threads the conversations in. Most of the CRMs. So what's the time frame, guys, on the object?
So on the email, I mean, like Shanavas said, we are going to work on the email, and it is closer. So like he said, I think we're road mapping for next quarter now, but there is a high chance. Not a high chance. It would be on the roadmap for next quarter, at least one of the emails.
Whoa, Varun said it, so I'm going to say it. Q4.
Yeah, so then the next time
I think in terms of delivery, we'll see, because the problem, I mean, we'll build it. The problem is getting through the approval flow, which is why it's hard to give timelines. But we'll try to get to that process as soon as possible.
And what about the stuff that you have now kind of ready, the org object and all that? Is that, when is that going to hit?
All of that should go out. I mean, before level up is the outer limit that the team is working with, but it should be much sooner, at least in places like labs or beta, it should show up much sooner.
Okay. And is that going to include stuff like the ability to add, like right now we can only attach notes to a contact, right? But sometimes we work an account and we
so with that, they have an active roadmap. So again, like everything else, the company object will roll out and we're building in increments. The first increment is 2 weeks worth of work. The next is another 2 weeks. So by then they will have enough to release. But beyond that, they're going to continue to work on it. And it'll probably be a few months before we have everything on the company object that every other CRM has. But what they're really going to be asking for feedback from all of you guys is, hey, what's the next most important thing you guys want us to do in the company object? And where does it matter? Like, is it adding a company object to the workflow? Is it attaching deals to the company object? And there will be someone constantly working on it. So every week it will keep improving.
Add me to the beta automatically.
Yeah. See, here's the great news, Glenn. We're going to go add all the boring CRM features that everybody else has finally, because we're at the point where we have the awesome marketing features that nobody has. And now we're going out, we're going to add the boring features everybody else has. And that right there is world domination.
I'll take it.
Oh, I know you will. This is like your agenda. It's like you're wait till you see the Q4 roadmap. You'll be like, I must have written this.
Because I'm really selling a CRM. I'm not really selling.
It's a B2B. Well, and you know what?
I'm going to B2B, right?
You know, the struggle about all of these things is, you've never been wrong. Don't let that go to your head. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited because we're finally at that place where we can really start to focus on these items and really bring it home. So I'm pumped because I don't have to keep saying, I'll see you 6 quarters from now.
I wish I could see you in Dallas, but I'll see you next year for sure.
All right, that sounds
Thank you.
good.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good stuff. Good thing.
Hey, following up with the email two-way sync you guys just mentioned, how does that relate to IMAP, or is that the same thing? Or
That is IMAP. I hate the word IMAP, but because I mean, we'll see what Varun ultimately
So it's
decides.
not true IMAP, because the way Google does it is the IMAP stuff is hidden away on their side and they push it to a pop-up topic and
Well,
stuff.
what I was
So
going to
you
say.
won't be. No. So the reason is people are probably asking because they want to connect an IMAP inbox.
I know. I'm going to tell them no. Hold on. So what I was going to say is, depends on what Varun wants to do, but what I want to do is recognize that really outside of Outlook and Gmail, nobody else matters. Hate to break it to you, GoDaddy and people running servers in their garage. But what we are going to do is, as Varun was alluding to there, IMAP is really old school as a protocol, and Gmail and Microsoft handle all of this on the back end themselves. So what we're going to do is a very formal integration with both of those platforms, which will effectively do the same thing. Some systems do support out and out IMAP, but I'm going to vote against it if I can. And I think Varun will like that because it's going to be less complex. Did I get that right, Varun?
I mean, like anything else, if it shows up on the ideal list and it has a lot of votes, we'll do it anyway. But I mean, it just comes down to.
Oh yeah, we'll start. Oh, that's a better way to put it. Sorry, what I meant was we'll start with Outlook and Gmail, and then we'll get to everybody else in their garage, depending on the votes.
Awesome. The next question we have is about the if and else's. If/else use case, SMS reply yes, one branch, SMS no reply, SMS no reply. How would this get done? Does this multi-if/else take care of this now? Dietrich, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I mean, Chase, the answer is yes, right? I mean, that seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, just I've been having issues and I've been on with success before.
I mean, in general, I would sort of say that's kind of what it's designed to do, because right now it's a waterfall, right? It's if this, the yes, no, and then another if, and you're chaining them essentially. But yeah, so this should allow you to again essentially test for multiple conditions simultaneously and take the route that that applies. So yeah, this should simplify that effort.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question we have is from Stephanie. Would there be the ability to have location level math fields, like to track registration or clients, etc.?
Can you just elaborate further, like track registrations or clients?
She had to leave for an
Stephanie?
appointment. I'm not sure.
Well, so the first part of that question, I would assume math fields are already location level. Oh, I think what she's saying is it's global to the location. So she wants to create like just this field called like total registrations, and it's a numeric field, right? And she just wants to be able to update that field however she updates it. And then at some point you could just sort of go like, hey, go look at total registrations, and you go look, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a global field. That's what she's asking for.
Yeah.
It's instead of, because here's the thing. Right now, the custom fields are at the contact level, actually. She's saying, can you put them at the location level as well? And I mean, Vern's not visually here. So the answer, of course we could, but I doubt that's already in the mix.
IDS board. Yeah, it's not currently. And
I
sorry,
mean,
my internet is really bad.
Hey, Vern, is that what a custom object is?
Which one? What are we talking about?
Like a location level custom field, like total registrations. It's a location level. I just update that field and it has whatever value it has. And then I can reference it wherever. It's almost like, you know what it is? It's like a custom value that has a type that's updatable. That's really what it is. Custom values are location level, right? So it's effectively that same concept, but like one called
It's like having a custom value and being able to operate on it.
Yeah, exactly.
From within the workflow, though.
Yeah,
right.
From anywhere, like have a custom value which is like a counter or something, and you can even
yeah,
build
exactly.
dashboard
That was her
cards, things like that in
example.
the future.
But my question is that what custom objects really are?
No, so custom I mean, you can kind of use it that way, but I think they do more. But for this use case, custom values should be good enough. And in future, when the dashboard is customizable, for instance, you can pull in a custom value field.
Yeah, because that would solve for this, right? Because lots of people like want to like be like, oh yeah, but I want to have like total people who chose blue on my dashboard, right? And we're like, oh, how are we ever going to do that? But this would be the answer to that, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying you can't update custom values like that anymore, like through a workflow?
No, you can update custom
you can't
fields.
Operate on. You can't be like.
No, you can update custom fields. I don't think you can update custom values.
Oh, well, there you go. Never mind. Shows what I know. But even in this case, what you need to do is you need to be able to operate on because you want a +1, right?
Yeah, that's a cool idea for sure.
I agree with that. Melissa's pretty, or Steffi's pretty smart, so she comes from good stock, as they say. I like the new hairdo, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Looks very nice. Sorry, just had to notice.
I just sent the message too.
All right, where are we going now, Nico?
Yeah, we are next up with Christina. When will we be able to move old calendars to the new format? I have 32 old calendars and want to use the new features, but cannot currently.
Let me just see if I get this answer right on behalf of Shah. You don't need to move anything. You're just going to wake up one day and there's going to be a thing called a calendar and you're done here.
Yeah. And I think we covered it on the call as well, but that is the answer. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to wait for Shah.
Yeah, there's one other thing. It also depends on what features are they really implying that they want to access by virtue of moving from the old to the new. So, Christina, can you tell us why do you feel the need to move from old to the new? Is there anything that you feel is not currently in the old?
Well, currently I can't even group my old calendars.
Got it. Yeah.
I think so I don't even know. I don't even know what all the new functionality is that I might want to access, but it would be nice to even be able to just group calendars, and I can't even do that. I can't even change the order of the calendars listed in the interface. I can do nothing currently.
Yeah, both these things you described. Yeah, both these things you described, Christina, you should be able to do. We should be able to support that automatically with these changes that are being shipped over the next few weeks.
Is that once a month I can
the next few days? You said
the CEO
over the next few weeks.
The product managers. And they
hey, who do we need to mute here?
I'm looking for it right now.
Oh, it was James.
I got it.
Yeah, regarding the calendar, since it was just brought up, just a real silly thing, but I understand what was just said by the young lady. Like if you're building like your different appointment blocks, 15-minute, 30-minute, hour, whatever, just something like ability to just move them around. Because what happens is when you create them, they display in the opposite order. So if you want your 15-minute to be the first one, your 30-minute to be the second option, you have to input them in reverse order. And then when you add a new block, like I want a 45-minute calendar now, like you can't, it looks, the calendar goes 15, 45, 30. It's like, it's just, you can't organize the objects in the calendar.
And I'm seeing that in other places in the UI also, like products. You can't reorder products. Once you put them in, that's how they appear. So we could use some help from you guys in a couple of areas on that.
We could just drag and drop. Yeah, I mean, yes, I think those are, I've seen the same problem, so yeah.
Yeah, in calendars at least, that's a very nice release, being able to organize and sort of sequence them. So you should be able to do that specifically, Glenn, now, with the next release. And on your side, Christina, like you said, the two use cases that you described, that will automatically be supported. You wouldn't have to take any intervention at your end to be able to do that. So these changes will sort of be backward compatible with all the calendars that were previously created.
Great. And you're saying 2 to 3 weeks on that?
No, not 2 to 3 weeks. I'm saying like over the next few weeks, by level up day, you could, this is going to be like, so it's not like one destination that we want to get to. So a lot of these similar pieces that we are adding week over week. So this piece that, what you talked about is actually a vast area. So it will be deployed over the next few weeks, but yeah, it's not like the next 2-3 weeks.
I'm kind of new to you guys. Do you do release notes that I could have access to so I could see?
Yes, in the top right-hand corner of your app, there is a microphone icon. If you click it, that will take you to the release notes.
You set that up very well for Sean. Sean wanted to talk about that the whole time.
No, you said, I mean, what I would have, had it been up to me, that would have never happened because I never think like that. But since I have just a kick-ass team, they thought that would be smart. And sure enough, they were right as usual.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, and my internet died.
Thanks, Christina. Next question we have is, what is the roadmap for tracking conversions and attributions with the change depreciation of Google Analytics 4?
Hi there. Actually, it's already working with Google Analytics 4. The only change is that, it won't have categories, actions, and everything because GA4 does not recognize that. It considers that as a session. So anything that you pass over will be considered inside, traffic acquisition. So it's already working with the new GA4 updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Pooja. Next question we have is from Josh. If you already bought tickets, can you upgrade to VIP?
I think we can find a way to take more money from him. Why not?
Yeah, I passed Josh Celeste's email, so just shoot her an email and we'll get you set up.
Awesome. Next one we have is from Eric. With the WordPress reselling, what plans are we reselling?
So, I mean, you could set the reselling to whatever you want. Like there are no plans in WordPress. You would set like a per site plan and your clients can purchase it from the UI prompt. On the other hand, so this is on the sales side. On the other hand, on the purchase side, you have two options. Either you could pay high level $10 a site and resell that for whatever you are comfortable with. Or you could sign up for the unlimited plan, and that way you won't be paying any per site cost.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you for that. I already saw that, but normally when you want to purchase WordPress yourself, you have a few plans, right? Basic, business, e-com. So in what category does the resell fit?
I mean, are you asking this from like a perspective of what kind of intra resources do you get?
Yeah. So what perks do the clients get? So
got it. So I mean, right now, technically there are no limits on the server. I mean, there are some limits, and we can talk about that offline. It's not very well defined at the moment. We will come up with a more structured plan, but I mean, so far we are still in the beta and we are testing other things out. So it's actually quite flexible. We have a different model, like it's not a shared Linux server where we have to be very strict with resources. We use Kubernetes containers with auto scaling. So depending upon the load on the site, sort of the resources also increase. So, I mean, that's pretty much about it. From a feature perspective, we don't have FTP, but we have backups and restore. We have user management in app. We are bringing plugin and theme management inside the app. So we will be pretty rounded up, except for the FTP and direct server connections and stuff like that.
Eric, are you looking for like bandwidth specs? Like you can have this much bandwidth, you have this much disk, so that when you present it to a customer, you can tell them what they're getting? Is that what you're looking for?
yeah, more like let me see. Yeah, normally, or am I completely wrong? Normally, when someone goes to WordPress.
Yeah, right. They're like other sites have like different plans, right? Like
Pro plan, right? Developer.
We just have everybody gets an amazing rockin' website plan.
Yeah.
You can make stuff up if you want, though. If it makes like people feel better, why don't you just say gold, platinum, diamond, and then just put different prices on it, and then just like put stuff down below that you like to say, and then you can just take more money from them. However you want to do it. I mean, we built it in a way that. We're not doing the bigger box concept like some people. So it's not like small server that's crappy, that's super cheap, so you hit the wall, right? We built it in a way that would be a lot more scalable just because we didn't want to monkey around with that.
Yeah, so everything that could be done with WordPress, it's in there.
That's the idea. I mean, I think there are some limitations of some kind, but the gist of the idea is we just didn't want to, big into tricking our customers.
Yeah, I understand.
So we just sort of said, well, what if we could build it sort of just Cadillac out of the box, and that's what we shot for.
Awesome. I guess I'll just test one for myself and just
totally
play around with it then, right? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Eric. Next one is from Steve, and we just have a few more guys. Is the ability to add multiple snapshots to the products in the SaaS configurator planned? Currently, you can only add one.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah. Is the ability to add multiple snapshots to the products in the SaaS configurator planned? Currently, you can only add one.
Yeah, I mean, currently there is one snapshot per plan. I mean, that's how we built it. I mean, you could just create a snapshot, right? Like if you have two snapshots, take the same asset, put it in put it in the same snapshot. Because I think the problem would be that, let's say we allow 2 snapshots per plan, then, there's no reason to not allow 3 or 4 or 5. And then to manage this on the back end, right? Like even today, when a location gets created, like a new client signs up, location gets created, it takes us about 5 minutes or something to load that snapshot in. And then what we would have to do on our side is we would have to daisy chain this thing. Like the first snapshot gets loaded, the second snapshot gets loaded, the third snapshot gets loaded. And what if the snapshots have some conflicting assets? Like, should we overwrite? Should we not overwrite? Like all of that complexity comes. So it would be easier if you take the assets that you want to load from both the snapshots, just create a new snapshot and link it to the plan. Does that solve your use case, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to think about that. I think it does. But I'll just have to think that through.
Awesome. I mean, in case it doesn't work, we can jump on a call, we can figure out the exact use case. But the limitation on our side is this, daisy chaining the snapshot load, and what if they have conflicting assets?
Yeah, got it. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
The next question we have is from Melissa. I would love to see another change to tags. The number of contacts that are using each tag that will make cleaning up tags so much faster / easier.
Yeah, we have this on the list for not just for tags. We have that for custom fields and even custom values. So I think the tricky part is the implementation. So it's something which we are still dabbling with right now. But this is on our list. It's one of those favorite features that I would really want to put in for each of these data management areas. So definitely on track.
Can I make a tag suggestion, please?
Yes,
something
please.
very simple, I think. So one of the issues now is when you go click on the tags field, and then you have to start typing something for it to pop up, and it's going to look for a string search of something in there, right? But the challenge is, from a user perspective, they're not thinking. And I would think if you just click in the field and pop it up to start with, so they could scan it and say, oh, that's kind of what I'm looking for, as opposed to them typing and thinking that what they're thinking they're looking for. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
We get multiple versions of this. Some people will put a couple letters of it.
Yeah, you pop the whole list up and maybe put a search at the top of the list if you needed to have that many tags. If not, just visually you could just scan it and look at it.
And the good thing is it will come out with the release that we have for custom folders, custom fields folder. So with that release, we are changing the entire left panel, right, where all of that will change. So there we are introducing this behavior. So when you click into that, it will give you a list of all the tags, and then you can search them or you can pick from the list. So that's already taken care of.
Okay, great.
Awesome. The next question we have is from CC. How do I disable getting Go High Level pop-ups in my account? Reason being, I do client demos every day and don't want to pop-ups to show up on my screen while sharing.
There is an option at the agency level that you can disable.
Yeah, so I mean, right now we use a different tool to sort of do a lot of client communication and stuff. And sometimes we haven't done a great job of excluding certain people out of that list. But I mean, these are mostly really informational, and we have to get certain messages across. But if you still want to disable those pop-ups, you can go to your agency setting. At the company level, there's an option to hide pop-ups, like exclude.
But if you ever don't know anything, blame yourself, not us.
So
no Facebook post like, I didn't know this was coming. Well, you're right. You didn't know, but that's your fault, not mine. That's all I'm saying.
And by the way, like, even in the pop-ups, we would never sort of put the high-level logo or link to like high-level stuff. We keep it very white labeled even when we are communicating to agency admins. So yeah, I mean, if you really have to do it, there is a way, but we would recommend not doing that.
Awesome. Thanks, Shivam. Glenn, your question is next. Did we answer this about cleaning up the fonts, line spacing?
No, this is not about the CRM as much as it is about the email builder. Just some idiosyncrasies about the email builder, how fonts are displayed, line spacing, things that the editor, I think, is just not doing a great job of.
Is Pooja still here? I know she's got a plan to clean all that up.
Yep. So we have this on the plan. Right now, the team has already started working on something that might help you out on a large scale. Like it is related to mobile formatting that allows you to hide, unhide the things and set the fonts when someone views it inside the mobile screen. So all of those things are coming up. And then the change on regards to font and line spacing. So that's already on the roadmap and we are going to take it this quarter or probably start of next quarter. So that's there in our current to-do.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it's just one of those annoying visual things that.
Oh, believe me, Glenn, I'm riding them. The fact that it defaults to like a single line height.
Right. It's not a bit. Yeah. Okay. It's cool. Yeah.
Hey, I have to run, but before I go, I just want to let everyone know that next month's town hall is canceled as we prep for Level Up Day. So we won't be meeting here next month. We will see you next on Level Up Day, which I don't know if we've decided that we're going to stream or not. Do we know, Robin? Or did Robin just jump? I know that the majority of the event will probably not be live streamed.
Yeah, we may do. I suspect we're going to do kind of like I don't know what we want to call it, but some of it, the major announcements or something, I would say will probably be streamed, but given the caliber of speaker that we have there and everything else, I think we'll probably be more of an in-person thing, but I actually don't know all the plans either. But I will say, I'm going to vote for, hey, can we at least talk about all of the amazing, awesome, secretly being worked on in the background features that no one knows about goes live on the stream. So
cool.
We'll do some of that for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, no Level Up Day next month, everyone. I will see you in October.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, that's it. Oh, okay. See you guys.
I don't know if you guys want to keep going. I just have to jump.
Oh, all right. Got it.
Yeah, there's only like 3 more questions. And
okay,
then we'll
cool.
Finished,
let's do it. Let's finish off the questions.
Next one is from Danny. Any update on automating form/survey PDF downloads?
Yes, please. This would be very helpful with turning around form submissions and making sure they get a copy and we get a copy.
Totally. Everybody needs a good PDF in their life.
Yes.
Putting in an email is just not enough, I say. PDF or bust.
Well, it's the half hour.
Just to give you
it's the half hour it takes to.
background.
It's the half hour it takes
sorry,
to
James, go
compose that email.
Oh no, you can do it automatically in the system. A form has been submitted. Property value, property value, property value.
Well, you have to create it, right?
I mean, I remember we added a field in because it was really painful for people to do property value for every
Yeah, you're
value.
right. Thanks, Varun. Just kidding. What's it called? All fields, I think.
Yeah, something like that. All fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should. I'll add it to the to-do list.
They could also.
We do have the all. Do we already have that field?
I'm pretty certain we already have that field.
Yeah, I think so too. But let's go back to the actual question. So are we ever going to bring PDFs back? I mean, the answer is we get the votes for it, I think.
Exactly.
Well, what about some sort of link back to because there is the submission, the submission kind of has the.
Well, what are we trying to accomplish is the really big question I have. So let's just say in 2 seconds, we have one custom field where it'll spit out all the form values like field name, value, and I can email that to you in 10 seconds. What are we trying to accomplish after that? What is the PDF giving us that is super valuable that we need, that we don't have today? And
now, Sean, when you ask it that way, and if there isn't in fact a solution or it just gets embedded in an email, then I don't need a PDF.
Well, that's why I ask it that way, because because what I care about is how do I get you to the value you need? And what I find in life is that people will ask questions in one way, whereas there's 10 other solutions that they'd be perfectly happy with. So that's what I want to get for you. So with that being said, Varun, what the heck's that field called?
I have a use case that may be pertinent to this question.
Fire away, Jeff, while somebody looks up that field name, hopefully.
I'm just, as far as downloading a PDF, I'm working with a multi-location, like a tattoo shop right now, and they spend $600 a month on multi-carbon forms because they need release forms. And so that's been
so let's say, okay, so this is a really good, okay, so that's a great use case. We need some way to prove that we had a signature, let's say, on a release form. So NASA, so NASA a second ago, it was essentially running that down, right? So let's just assume for a second that the law doesn't say thou shalt have a PDF or it's not legal. Let's say instead it's like you got to have the following IP records and fingerprint, whatever the actual requirements are. So long as we can meet those requirements, if they were ever to get sued and you could produce those records, that's what would matter. If it was and in fact, actually, what I would do is whatever those like record, like I've seen this actually, but I've gotten these emails before where they'll say, "Hey, Sean, you just signed this, and oh, by the way, in addition to that, we track this IP address, this fingerprint, like whatever it is, like this time zone and all this stuff." They sort of like put it all out there on the document for me, which was really cool. But it was just sitting in an email. Right. And so what I care about is satisfying that requirement. If we can do it without the PDF, and I'll tell you, by the way, why we pulled the PDF out. It was a pain in the butt. It would like cut stuff off all the time and it wouldn't look right and on and on and on. And then the library we were using got killed and it wasn't an easy replacement. And so we were just like, and then we looked, how many people use this feature? It was like 7. And so we're like, okay, look, this just doesn't make sense. But trying to get the value makes sense. So Jeff, to your point, that's what we need to figure out. And NASA already has it, and we're going to run that down. To Danny's point, I think it's Danny, because it says Danny and Karen, but I'm going to go with Danny, not Karen. I'm hoping that we have a field for him. Varun, we got a field for him?
I don't see it, but we'll run it down. NASA has it.
But we will get that field for you. Is that fair to say? Varun?
Yeah, somebody asked in the message.
Right, fair enough. We'll try to get that field for you though, Danny, because I do think that that's a reasonable request. And we did have that at one point. I'm almost sure of it, like Varun said. So let's see who can, here, Shaw. Yeah. Can you, or NASA, one of you guys, can you run this down and connect with, can you put your email address in the chat or something? And then Danny can grab it and you guys can correspond that way.
Yes. I'm doing that.
Thank you.
So one suggestion for you, because I have this issue with 2 of my clients, is I have built a form, and in that form I have the text for the terms and conditions, and then I pass the same terms and conditions through a hidden field, and all of that goes into the database. So then I generate an email that goes to the branch and a slightly different email that goes to the client that says, here are the terms and conditions that you agreed to at this time. And it's also got the signature block on there. And I hadn't thought about adding the IP address, but that would be an extra layer.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think what we should do is, I think this use case is really common, and we're going to move into proposals and things. And I think a lot of this will come along with that as well. And so this is why I like talking this through with this group, because if we can cut through, the what other people do or what I've seen before, get to what we're actually trying to achieve. I think we can do a better job cutting that standard. And I think what we want to do is try to make it easy on all of you to just one click at it, one way or another. So in the short term, for what Danny's looking for, I think we just wrap that field. But the long term, when we do like a signature on a proposal, I want to have a standard default that goes out with that signature. And it probably needs to be, like you said, terms and conditions, and then all the IP information, all of that. So the person that signs it knows that like, hey, we're watching you and we did this for real. So don't think later on you can say, no, I didn't sign that.
Hey, Sean, one limitation I came across using the forms, the fields, is when you're doing the document upload, if you have more than one document, it's not
document upload. Yeah, I'm with you. We need that.
Yeah, because I have one that's using like 5 or 6 documents for a doctor.
NASA,
and
that
it only sends one.
Yes, it's in the list, Sean. We are working on it.
Yeah, that team is getting the most attention right now on the hiring side. Yeah, but that makes total sense, right? I took 6 pictures of the accident or my job. I need you to come out and do it at my house or whatever it is. You don't want to upload 6 freaking pictures. You don't want to have 6 individual files. Yeah, I'm aware.
It makes the form really long too.
We'll get that handled. Nico, what's up on the questions list?
Yeah, we just have a few more. Next one is from Alok. Not sure if this was discussed already, but when will Lead Connector phone system be live in Australia?
Oh,
it can be live in Australia right now. So yeah, so just, I'm sharing an email ID with you. Shubham is our product manager for Lead Connector phone system. Just sync up with him and be on the beta. And then you could tell us if you're facing any issues in Australia or not. We have tested it fairly. Everything should be good. So jump in. We'll do some final round of testing and we'll go live. So.
Okay. And last question.
All right. The last question is going to be from Sean. When will the size limits of media files be increased?
Oh, and then I thought I asked him, like, what the heck part of the app are you talking about? Did he answer that?
I think he's specifically asking for video. So he's asking for video size limit so that they can avoid using YouTube. So
so we only have this in memberships today, right?
Correct.
So what is the size limit?
So that's not true. We have it in blogs as well, but with the memberships, we did just increase the file size limit. We increased it, I think, to 4 GB or something. You can also use it in the blogs. It will also come soon to funnels. But we increased the file size recently.
Yeah, so my question is, what does Sean say he wants as far as file size? Can you specify? Or is he here?
And I guess it might be for social media, because we did get a lot of those requests for social media, and we made the change there as well. We did increase the file size for social.
All right, Sean.
We have access to like a media library that we don't have to go through. Like right now, if you go into, let's just say, website building, you can get the media there, or you have to go through a particular product to be able to get to the media library. Can't we have the media library available outside?
So we can, global thing. Yeah, we should have that.
So we can manage
settings media.
Yeah,
media
library. We have it.
Wait, it's already there. Psych.
Yeah.
What?
Settings media library.
Settings. There's a media. There is a media library link.
Oh Lord. See there. This is why these calls are important.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to think about. Yeah.
I know we did
too.
We did talk about integrating memberships a little bit better with media library. Right now, if you have to upload each product thumbnail, so it would be good to integrate with media library.
Oh man,
so that is coming up. Yeah,
you're gonna see some pretty exciting stuff here soon.
And okay, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. That was the last question, everyone. And
Thanks.
I just want to say thank you. What's up, Sean?
As I said, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And
Awesome
remember,
call.
next month, there's not going to be a town hall because of the event. And make sure to grab your tickets, and you guys definitely don't want to miss out on it. It's going to be a massive, massive event.
Levelup.com. Get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot.
Drop
Thank you, everyone,
the
for coming.
Bye,
and
everybody.
Have an amazing day. See you guys. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
Thank
See
you.
ya.